And for USA Radio News, I'm Dan Naraki.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
ultra-low sulfur fuels.
The primary function of diesel fuel is combustibility. One of the little-known aspects of fuel is its role as a lubricant to metal-on-metal moving parts. The introduction of ultra-low sulfur fuels diminishes the fuel's ability to lubricate because sulfur, which has been mostly removed, has lubricating properties. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment with LX4 delivers unmatched lubricity. Third-party testing confirms that it takes 3 times the amount of leading fuel treatment to match the lubrication benefit of 1 dose of Hot Shot Secret. Everyday Diesel Treatment is a fully formulated 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
All right, back to the phones we go here, and promise we get to Red Mule next. Hello, Red Mule.
Morning, Steve. First up, you're talking about the deal there at ports of Los Angeles and Long Beach, the back up there. Is it possible that Kamala Harris did get one thing right, that we better do our Christmas shopping early because of that? What do you think?
Well, I don't know. Is the Christmas merchandise going to be on the shelf?
Well, that's what I'm saying. She's saying you better do your Christmas shopping early. I guess she got her information correct about something.
Yeah.
Or maybe that wasn't why she was saying it, but I just, maybe it's accidentally. Maybe she accidentally got something right. That wouldn't surprise me. So, Steve, you're talking about going back in. I'm sure you caught this. Even Leon Panetta, who was Obama's Secretary of Defense and the head of the CIA, came out saying we were going to have to go back in. Did you see that?
I did not. Is that right?
Oh, yeah. Leon Panetta came out. He was just blasting them up one side and down the other. I was quite surprised at that. I don't know if you can pull that up. So, Steve, it's been said many, many times that Warren Buffett is the greatest investor of all time. But I think maybe after yesterday, there might be another great investor. Now, we have discussed on this program many times, what did China get for that $1 billion that they gave to Hunter Biden? I think we might have seen the answer to that one yesterday. There's been a lot of talk about China going into Afghanistan.
Mm-hmm.
What more could they ask than to go in there, even if they don't end up with all that equipment? Just the fact that they're going to go in there where there's no U.S. military base, thanks to good old Joe Biden. I'd say they got their $1 billion back several times over. What do you think?
I would say so, yeah. I mean, we've been talking for years about the rich assets that they have in that country. I guess technically Afghanistan doesn't have to be a poor country like it is.
No. But, they're talking about all these rare earth minerals. We've got those here in the United States, Steve, but they won't put tariffs on the Chinese materials so that these people can afford to mine them. They'd rather go ahead and let them do it somewhere else and then bring it in cheap, and so our American mines go out of business. So, Steve, I'm going to anger some of your people, but I'm going to blast Fox News again. My wife's got an aunt, and I've got a sister-in-law. I guess everybody's got a relative like this that, they're kin to you. You got to put up with them for 40 years or whatever. And you think to yourself all the time, you're a jerk. And then you get thinking, maybe they're not so bad. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I ought to cut them a little slack. And then they do something just irritates the ever-living hell out of you. I'm referring to Geraldo Rivera. I almost thought that guy was a jerk. And then he got on there and was running his mouth the other day about wondering why they'd close Bagwell Air Base. And I think, yeah, maybe that guy ain't so bad. And then he comes on there today and is congratulating Biden for pulling out. And he said, well, if it hadn't been for the lost military people in there, we could forgive Biden. I'm thinking, no, you're a jerk. I was right before. You're a jerk, Geraldo. And Steve, several times, even Neil Cavuto and some of them I've heard saying there, well, it wasn't under Trump's plan, there wasn't going to be any military left in there. No, that is not right, damn you. Get your facts straight. Trump was going to keep that military base. But even Fox News is putting out false information on this. And Steve, I kind of get to the point, I wonder, is there anybody got any stones? And now, did you hear that mother of that guy from Wyoming? Did you hear her blasting Biden?
Was that one of the Gold Star family members? Was that?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
She called him a piece of crap.
Mm-hmm.
You might want to pull that up. I mean, she got some stones, and Steve, I'm going to be proud to say I heard that, and this other false information by Fox News. You know, all the families were there to meet the coffins. No, there were two families that refused to meet with Biden, and I'm proud to say that one of them was a guy from Utah. You know, he said, I'm not going to meet with that guy. I'm not going to meet with Biden. And, you know, you just wonder if there's anybody with any stones left. Now, Chevy guy, I think it was talking about there's no accountability. Steve, I mentioned before, I had a brother that was killed in a training accident in the Army. And this happened before I was born, so I never knew him. But, you know, as a kid growing up, I know it affected my mother. My dad died when I was 5, so I don't know. I guess it probably affected him. I know it affected my mother. I asked her one time, I said, what had happened? They were out on maneuvers, and my brother had been on guard duty and was asleep in his tent. And some clown drove over him with a truck, drove over his head. I asked my mother, I said, what'd they do to the guy that drove over him? She said, well, nothing. She said there was 3 people out there driving trucks, and none of them knew or claimed they didn't know that they hit somebody. And, you know, that's just the way it is. But on the other hand, Steve, as I understand it, let's look at Pearl Harbor. Now, Pearl Harbor, you know, we all know what happened to the Navy in there. But the security for Pearl Harbor was actually under the control of the Army. There was, I'm sure he was a general by the name of Kimmel, Kimmel, I don't know his first name, that was the head of the Army in that area. And so you can argue either side of this, Steve, but I believe he was relieved of his duties. I don't think he was court-martialed, but I've read a book about his sons and grandsons have spent years trying to get his name redeemed and him reinstated to the rank that he had. Now, I don't know if it was a legitimate complaint against the guy or if they were just looking for a scapegoat. You know, like I say, you could probably argue either side of that. But once upon a time, they did hold people responsible. But Biden's outfit's not going to hold anybody responsible. Steve, I think, you know, just make life interesting. Why don't we get a pool together, everybody chip in a few bucks, and let's see how long it's going to take before old Miley's back out there running his mouth about white supremacists. I can see that happening, can't you?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That ain't going anywhere.
Yeah. You know, he's going to be back out there running his mouth again, and you know, he's not going to take any responsibility. So, Steve, one last comment on another subject. I come across the top of, or the middle of Tennessee today, across the top of that hurricane, and I needed to take my 30-minute break here, and I pulled over the side road and kicked it over to personal use. But I wasn't going to sit there and wait for a hurricane to catch up with me. I may get in trouble for that. But, Steve, I got a question now. I don't know if it's you or somebody else said the eye of that hurricane, I think, was, 17 miles across?
Yeah, like 15 miles across, yes.
Now, when does the eye disappear in something like that? Is it when, for example, when the winds get down to, say, 100 miles, from 150 miles, when the winds drop down to 100 miles an hour or something like that? Is that when the eye of a hurricane disappears?
I think just as soon as the eye wall starts interacting with land, the eye wall starts to just kind of collapse. You know what I mean? Just kind of begins to fall apart.
Okay.
But
I wonder why that is. I did not know that.
Land,
that's why you're the commentator and I'm the listener.
Land interaction with land just kind of tears the eye wall apart.
I did not know that. Okay, well, that's all my rant this morning, Steve. I'll catch you later.
Have a good morning, Red Mule. Thank you for checking in. Yeah, he brought up the Gold Star family members. You probably haven't really heard much about it, but over the weekend, Sunday, 3 days after the explosions that wreaked havoc outside the airport, President Biden flies to Dover Air Force Base to receive the flag-draped remains of those 13 service members that were killed. Before receiving those heroes who had returned home at last, Biden decided to meet with their families. In at least one aspect, though, it kind of blew up in his face. When most members of the Gold Star family walked out at him before they could even exchange a word. That was kind of buried in an article in the Washington Post that bore a headline that would never let a cursory reader know that the presidential embarrassment had even happened. The headline, Biden meets with families of service members killed in Kabul as U.S. races to exit Afghanistan. The article pressing the urgency of quickly getting out by the deadline, August 31. The withdrawal deadline. Labeled Biden's Afghanistan pullout a tragedy. Rounded off with tumult and growing anger. Well, we should all be outraged by this withdrawal, what it became. But what we're not seeing, not many, if anyone, has as much right to be outraged. Who has the right more than the families who are grieving for their lost loved ones? Jenna McCullum, the expectant wife of 20-year-old Marine Lance Corporal Riley McCullum, who died in that bombing, was awaiting the dignified transfer of remains with two of her sisters-in-law and her father-in-law. Riley's sister, Royce, tells the Post, Jenna is expected to deliver her child next month. She was the only one in the family who actually met the president. The rest, according to the Post, left the room when it was time to meet Biden. They didn't want to speak with the man that they held responsible for McCullum's death. His mother, Kathy McCullum, had already made headlines voicing her fury. She told the Post that her daughter left the room disappointed after speaking with Biden. Further down, Biden shared the story of his son, Beau, with her, talking about his military service and how he succumbed to cancer. They said that the family found Biden's words just scripted and shallow, a conversation that lasted only a couple minutes in total disregard to the loss of our Marine. In Royce's words, you can F up as bad as he did, or I'm sorry, you can't F up as bad as he did and say you're sorry. This didn't need to happen. Every life's on his hands, she said. The same article described the emotions of another Gold Star mother, Paula Naus, who shared the reaction she felt while watching the remains of her son being received at the service on television. There was understandable pride in her son, of course, heartbreak at his loss, but there was also, as the report delicately paraphrased it, disappointment over what she deemed as a lack of leadership and protection for the service members in Afghanistan. You can't have a hasty withdrawal after 20 years of war, she says, because it's beyond me. It disgraces the name of all those who fought in the past and are on the ground now, foreign ground. Fighting right now, my son's 82nd Airborne, still there. All right, there's the rest of the story. And with that, we got to get a quick 2-minute time out here, right? We'll get back to your calls just ahead. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios, the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive.
Are you having trouble sleeping? Are you tired all the time? Growing older is a fact of life. Our skin starts to wrinkle, muscles get weaker, and our energy levels plummet. If there was a product that may help you slow down these symptoms of aging, would you be interested? I want you to go to getonthegel.com. That is getonthegel.com. Watch this 4-minute video that explains more about this amazing product. Or call us at Youth Fountain HGH today at 513-472-0699 for more information.
Diesel Army is on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Burning the midnight oil with the best diesel coverage. All the tech, all the torque. Diesel Army, where there's smoke, there's fire. For the latest news and event coverage, as well as feature and tech articles, sign up for the newsletter and don't miss a thing. Visit dieselarmy.com from the Power Auto Media family of digital magazines. Again, it's dieselarmy.com.
Dean Michael, the tax doctor here. Are you tired of those tax problems following you around like a dark cloud, always in the back of your mind, losing sleep at night? Call me now and get your life back. 888-557-4020 or go to mytaxhelpmd.com. Pretending they're not there won't make them go away. The IRS isn't going to forget. They will levy your bank account and garnish your wages. Don't wait for that to happen. I'm not telling you these things to scare you. I'm telling you so you can benefit from my years of experience. Now is the time to act. 888-557-4020.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. Levon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3-quarter or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
And now, back to the Steve Sommers Overnight Drive, live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
More on New Orleans facing potentially 3 weeks with no electricity. Entergy officials said yesterday that it's going to take days for crews to determine the extent of the damage on the power grid and even longer to restore power. Repairs could take until late December, they're saying. We've got a lot of rebuilding. We'll be better prepared to give restoration estimates once we have a chance to assess everything. Monday morning, 216 substations, 207 transmission lines, and more than, get a load of this, 2,000 miles of transmission lines were down. Wow. Meanwhile, the Sewer and Water Board said most, if not all, of the 84 sewage pumping stations were without power, relying on generators to keep pumps working to drain the stormwater out of the city and bring drinking water in. Officials warning New Orleans may be without power and air conditioning for more than 3 weeks. The mayor urging people and businesses to share the power you do have. While the power is dependent on generators, I'm calling on all of our people and businesses that have the capacity in the city to be good neighbors. Share the power you have. Open your business with the people to recharge their devices. I guess FEMA has sent 200 generators to the area, as 1 million people are still without power. They've asked the Federal Aviation Administration to authorize the use of drones to assess the damage to the energy infrastructure. They've also ordered the Pentagon and Department of Homeland Security to make available any satellite imagery that might help them assess the extent of the damage. Also, he said, we're activating cooperative cell phone access so that if one cell phone carrier loses service, their customers in the area can temporarily switch to another cell phone carrier. That came after AT&T announced their network had gone down for like 40% of the customers in the state of Louisiana, which combined with the power shortages made life a nightmare for hard-hit residents trying to make emergency calls or work from home. Good luck with that. All right. Governor said, we get knocked down. We're here to help. We'll get back on our feet. But yeah, the temperature is going to be back in the upper 80s, lower 90s in the coming days. Boy, oh boy, it's going to be cooking down there. Northern Kentucky Hillbilly, hey there.
Hey, what's up tonight, Stu?
Not a whole lot. How you been?
Oh, not too bad. I just calling up that Afghanistan. It's really been weighing on my mind about leaving people behind. And you know me, I spent 1,644 days over there, 4 tours. And I feel like it's just a waste of my time that was there. And it's just so frustrating. I talked to my buddy. He got out of there the day before, I think Sunday morning he got out. And he was telling me that they're still getting calls from people telling where they're at, and we're not going to get them. It's just, it's rough thinking about it. And frustrating beyond words, but we'll be back there, I guarantee it. We're just letting the door wide open for them to come over here now and do whatever they want to do over here.
We're supposedly, but remember, it's the all-new Taliban. It's the Taliban 2.0, and they're vying not to allow ISIS and Al-Qaeda to regroup and, plan terror operations to attack us. I don't know. You think we can trust them to do that, or no?
Oh yeah. We can trust them. Yeah, that's. I guarantee right now they're probably going door to door finding these people. It just frustrates the hell out of me. But on a lighter note, I would like to say I've been on the after show, and it's been pretty good dealing with the guys and talking with them, and a lot of fun.
Yeah, I jumped on for about 30 minutes this past morning, but it was pretty quiet Monday morning.
Yeah.
To start the week, I think I mentioned, I don't know if you were on when I mentioned that, things get a little more active later in the week.
I was on for a little bit when you were on there, and then I had to get off for a few hours, and then I got back on, and I think Big Moose was just finally waking up, trying to get his coffee in, and quite a few of them on there.
Really?
Monkey
Okay.
Gouger was on there. Yeah, I had a good time. But I'll let you get on to your other calls. I just wanted to get my frustrations out about Afghanistan. It's sad. It's sad that we would leave our own people behind, and the whole thing was just a cluster.
I guess that's the word you'd use, cluster. Red Mule mentioned former Defense Secretary Leon Panetta. I did pull that up, and indeed, a couple of days ago, he said, yes, we're going to have to go back as the region remains on high alert for more suicide attacks. Now, we're going to have to go back to get ISIS, he said. We're probably going to have to go back when Al-Qaeda resurrects itself, as they will, with the Taliban, with this Taliban. They gave safe haven to Al-Qaeda before. They'll probably do it again. I understand that we're trying to get our troops out of there, but the bottom line is we can leave a battlefield, but you cannot leave the war on terrorism, which is still a threat to our security. Now, he was defense secretary under Barack Obama. He said Biden's sudden withdrawal left a very dangerous, difficult situation. He insisted the Taliban, despite their claims of peace and a new era of leadership, are terrorists and certainly supporters of terrorists. I mean, they're operating checkpoints for terrorists. He said, we appear to have pretty good intelligence on the leadership of ISIS. ISIS-K that took responsibility for the blast last Thursday. And once we're able to locate them, we'll go after them. Of course, that's with the drone strike that occurred there on Saturday. I mean, that's what the president pretty much promised, he said, when he vowed that we will hunt you down and make you pay. With that, though, we're up to news break. The Steve Sommers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News with Dan Naraki.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says that a new diplomatic chapter of the U.S.'s engagement in Afghanistan has begun. Blinken making the comments after the announcement that the final military flights out of the country have left Afghanistan. The Secretary of State also announced that the embassy would be moving its operations to Qatar.
As of today, we've suspended our diplomatic presence in Kabul and transferred our operations to Doha, Qatar, which will soon be formally notified to Congress. Given the uncertain security environment and political situation in Afghanistan, it was the prudent step to take. For the time being, we will use this post in Doha to manage our diplomacy with Afghanistan, including consular affairs, administering humanitarian assistance, and working with allies, partners, and regional and international stakeholders to coordinate our engagement and messaging to the Taliban.
This is USA Radio News.
Do you have a home that you don't want anymore? We can buy it from you within 24 hours. Any home, size, or condition. For over 20 years, we've been buying homes for cash and helping homeowners sell their homes immediately with no listings or strangers walking through your home. Are you moving? Did you lose your job? Going through a divorce? Whatever the reason, if you're in a bind and you know that you need to sell your house fast, call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. We'll make you a serious cash offer to buy your home in 24 hours and let you walk away from it. No listing, no waiting. Sell any home, any size, any condition, now. Call the expert team at I Need to Sell My House Fast. Make this free call now.
800-478-6084. 800-478-6084. 800-478-6084. That's 800-478-6084.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers.
Do you have a Dodge pickup and hate your automatic transmission? Of course you do. Levon Miller at Firepunk Diesel here, and we specialize in heavy-duty and performance transmissions for your 3/4 or 1-ton Cummins-powered truck. So if you're interested in turning your stock slush box into a towing monster, Call us today at 614-733-3744 or visit us online at shop.firepunk.com.
Drivers, you demand that your equipment's reliable and dependable, and that also applies to your headset for communication. Well, our friends at Stellar Electronic have you covered. The Pluto Duo headset bundle is the best communication headset you can find in the industry. No matter the challenging environment you're driving in, the Pluto headset will make you sound crystal clear all the time thanks to their 99% noise cancellation. And the Duo's not only a stereo converter for the headset, but also a power bank so you can charge as you go. Learn more at StellarElectronic.com or visit them on Facebook.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme.
Today's ultra-low sulfur fuels are cleaner, but they leave injector deposits, causing frequent DPF regens and low throttle response. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is a 6-in-1 fuel additive recommended for all diesel engines. It is formulated with the most concentrated detergent on the market, a top-tier level cetane booster, lubricity enhancer, water demulsifier, rust and corrosion inhibitors, and a fuel stabilizer. Diesel Extreme is a once every 6-month treatment that will clean your entire fuel system, starting at the fuel tank and traveling throughout the fuel lines and fuel pump, and finally completely cleaning your injectors. Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme improves your diesel's fuel economy and eliminates excessive black smoke.
Hot Shot Secret Diesel Extreme is available nationwide at truck stops, fine farm and auto stores, and online at hotshotsecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Diesel Army is on duty 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Burning the midnight oil with the best diesel coverage. All the tech, all the torque. Diesel Army, where there's smoke, there's fire. For the latest news and event coverage, as well as feature and tech articles, sign up for the newsletter and don't miss a thing. Visit dieselarmy.com from the Power Auto Media family of digital magazines. Again, it's dieselarmy.com.
Pureflow Airdog, your leader in fuel air separation system technology. Our systems filter out water, particulates down to 2 micron, and remove all of the air out of your diesel fuel. This allows for nothing but pure, clean diesel fuel to reach the expensive injection system equipped in your vehicle. Not only do our fuel systems protect, they also come in a variety of flow rates to meet your performance needs. Our systems are compact and use OEM-style fittings for an easy installation. Learn more about our product at www.pureflowairdog.com and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Protect your investment with Pureflow Airdog.
The Overnight Drive with Steve Sommers. Live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios. Call Steve now, 844-844-3388. That's 844-844-3388.
So, the latest numbers out of New Orleans and Louisiana, 5,300 National Guard members from 4 states have been activated now as of yesterday to help with the rescue and relief efforts. About 5,000 members of the Louisiana National Guard were staged for a massive mission, hoping to maintain communications, operations, government. The rest of the support is coming from Guard units in Mississippi, Alabama, and Texas. They've got the numbers from the Louisiana National Guard. Guard teams were ready in 23 parishes, set to support others as requested. Meanwhile, the Guard placed engineer work teams in 3 parishes to assist with any infrastructure damage, post-storm debris, road clearance if needed. The Louisiana National Guard said, our members set out early Monday in LaPlace with other local and state agencies. LaPlace is located in St. John the Baptist Parish, about 30 miles northwest of New Orleans. So, yep, a lot of help on the ground, more on the way, and yes, they're going to be needing loads and loads and loads. It's going to be, I had an uncle that worked for a company that had gone down after Katrina 16 years ago. And, he went trying to describe, he said, You can't really fathom the damage. You see, things like stoves and refrigerators up in trees. It's hard to imagine. All right, so we'll get back to the calls here. Checkpoint Charlie next on the list. Morning, Charlie.
How you doing there, Steve? Good morning to you and all your listeners.
Morning.
I wanted to opine on the Afghanistan fiasco, like everybody else has. Here's the thing, okay? I'll tell you what. Trump was setting us up to get out of there with our, he set it up to do it the right way, and with the goal of getting us out of there the right way. I don't know. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be all over the place. It's just I was trying to get my thoughts together on exactly what I wanted to say. But all I'm saying is, until we start holding people accountable and start punishing traitors in our government, we're going to keep on getting the same stuff over and over again. I mean, I'm sorry, when you leave as much armament, I mean, forget the fact that all of the tragedy that's happened with these servicemen. Believe me, I'm not trying to make light of that. But just the fact that this man has now armed our biggest enemy. I mean, if that isn't a traitor, I don't know what is. And when are we going to start holding these people accountable? I mean, if you were going to destroy a country, what would you do different? Joe Biden, everybody who voted for Joe Biden or who didn't vote for Trump has blood on their hands. That's the way I look at it. We got this guy because everybody hated Trump. Well, like one meme on Facebook said, I would rather have a few mean tweets than several dead Marines. And it just absolutely astounds me that now all the Trump haters out there, we don't hear nothing about how great their guy is doing. I mean, Joe probably doesn't even know what planet he's on. I mean, he was falling asleep the other day with the Prime Minister of Israel. I mean, he's looking. I can't believe this man. He's sitting there looking at his watch while these dead bodies are coming off the plane. I mean, it just absolutely is. It just and then look at what's happening to our country. Okay, fuel is through the roof. I was over there at the Loves in Corbin, Kentucky the other day, and they said they were out of coffee. I told them, I said, I feel for you, because these drivers come in, and when you tell them you don't have any coffee, what are they going to, they're going to get irate at you. I mean, look at what's happening to our country. I mean, this guy, he doesn't care. He's trying to destroy our country. When are people going to wake up? And here's the thing. If everybody would have voted for Trump, and it wasn't such a 50-50 deal, they couldn't have cheated. I guarantee you, if Trump had been president, we wouldn't be dealing with this right now. It just absolutely gets me so angry to see what's going on in our country. So many people have died for our freedom, including these 12 or 13 service people. I mean, and as far as the families meeting with Joe Biden, I'll tell you what, I wouldn't meet with the man, because I would tell him where to go and how to get there. I wouldn't want to, I'd get in trouble. But one more thing too. They're trying to shove. I don't know if this is true or not. You probably know better than I do. In fact, I know you probably know. I heard that they're trying to make it to where you've got to take the vaccine in order to renew your CDL. And I'm going to tell you this right now. I am not taking their jab, their shot, their poison pill. I'm not taking it. I've already told my company, if you require me to take it, I'm parking the truck. And, when are people going to wake up and realize that these people, all they want to do is control you? They want to take over. They want to destroy this country. I don't understand. The American people, for the most part, are not idiots. And these people that are trying to take this country over seem to think that we are. And, I just don't know. I'm just totally bewildered. I'm seeing shortages in places I never thought I'd ever see. At truck stops, nonetheless.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how much blame I could put on Biden for the supply chain shortages. Would there be a difference in that aspect of Trump? I mean, much of that has to do with the COVID shutdowns. And it's not. It's a global thing. When you're shutting down manufacturing operations in China and Taiwan and India and literally all over the world, and you've got the bottlenecks at the ports, as we were sharing earlier, 44 ships that are anchored out there, unprecedented. Now, how much that would be different? Because the COVID would still be here. Many thought, the idea was when the vaccine rolls out, we're going to be able to stop this thing, and it's not stopping it. That's a separate subject. Now, I think you are correct as far as Afghanistan's concerned. It'd be a whole different ballgame. Now, there was video that came out this past day. We've talked about the billions of dollars of weaponry that the Taliban now has control of, which, as I've said, it's essentially over a 20-year period, not by design, but ultimately we have armed the largest terror organization in the history of the world. It's supposed to be the Taliban 2.0. It's an all-new Taliban. Yeah, the video that came out was a Black Hawk helicopter, is what it appears to be, with what they believe is an Afghan interpreter, someone who worked with the Americans, hanging from the helicopter. Hanging by the neck, by the way. Like, this is the message being sent. So all this talk about being the new trustworthy Taliban 2.0 from Western journalism, conservative commentator Liz Wheeler says, if this is what it looks like, the Taliban hanging somebody from an American Black Hawk, I could vomit. Biden is responsible. This is the Taliban that the Biden administration called pragmatic and businesslike. Pragmatically and businesslike, hanging an American interpreter from an American Black Hawk helicopter. And if any Republican has any balls, this is going to be in every campaign ad for 2022, says Carmine Sabia, another commentator. Christian Tribert, a reporter for the New York Times, corroborating the account of the Taliban's use of the helicopter by mentioning how the aircraft was seen on a tarmac a few days ago. I had seen that video. The video already appeared showing the U.S.-made helicopter taxiing on the tarmac. Circumstances of the pilot are unclear. You don't just fly a helicopter like that. It could have been a former Afghan military pilot. That video started making the rounds shortly after, just after we officially removed all the soldiers from Afghanistan on Monday. So literally within a matter of hours, this is how things change. Maybe Donald Trump was correct in his statement here in the last couple of days. Either demand the Taliban return our military equipment or blow it up. Right? got to go back in and blow our own stuff up. It's about 10 before the hour. We'll get back to the calls here. It is 844-844-3388. 2-minute timeout to Steve Summers Overnight Drive live from the Hotshot Secret Studios.
You're listening to the Overnight Drive with Steve Summers.
Pureflow Airdog, your leader in fuel air separation system technology. Our systems filter out water, particulates down to 2 micron, and remove all of the air out of your diesel fuel. This allows for nothing but pure, clean diesel fuel to reach the expensive injection system equipped in your vehicle. Not only do our fuel systems protect, they also come in a variety of flow rates to meet your performance needs. Our systems are compact and use OEM-style fittings for an easy installation. Learn more about our product at www.pureflowairdog.com and be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. Protect your investment with Pureflow Airdog.
Drivers, you demand that your equipment's reliable and dependable, and that also applies to your headset for communication. Well, our friends at Stellar Electronic have you covered. The Pluto Duo headset bundle is the best communication headset you can find in the industry. No matter the challenging environment you're driving in, the Pluto headset will make you sound crystal clear all the time thanks to their 99% noise cancellation. And the Duo's not only a stereo converter for the headset, but also a power bank so you can charge as you go. Learn more at StellarElectronic.com or visit them on Facebook.
Some say their truck reflects who they are, dependable and reliable. That's why you trust Blue Def. Now the best just got better. Introducing Blue Def Platinum, a revolutionary innovation with advanced system shield technology to significantly reduce harmful deposits. To maintain fuel economy, save money on costly repairs, and sustain the life of your SCR system, there's only one DEF to choose. Blue Def Platinum. The best just got better.
Because Channel 19's a little congested. Call Steve now at 844-844-3388. The Overnight Drive.
All right, let's get right back to the calls here. Big Moose back out on the road again tonight, I guess. What's going on, Moose?
I'll get ready to gallivant around the big Hoosier state here a little bit. Couple of things here right off the bat. We are fighting a theology and an ideology. That is the biggest enemy that we're fighting with these people, okay? You take these people, they are hardcore. You want to talk about hardcore religious nuts? That's exactly what they are. They're taught from birth that that's an honorable thing to fight and die in the name of, whoever. And what do these people do with homosexuals? They kill them. That's what they do. What do these people do with women? They treat them like third-class citizens. They make them cover themselves up except for their eyes. They have absolutely no respect for them. And if they step out of line, guess what they do to them? They kill them also. And they believe, and their quote-unquote holy book teaches them that to either enslave or kill any Christian. This is the theology that we're fighting against with these people. And now you take what the Americans are putting up here. We got all these transgenders and all this crap and all these different kind of, sexualities and genders and everything else. Well, number one, that makes us infidels in their mind. That shouldn't even be tolerated in their mind. That is a weakness on our part because, those people, are taking that we're just a bunch of chumps and perverts and need to be killed. Then we got a woman second in command and, how they feel about women, so they have absolutely no respect for her. So, look at it from their point of view. Look at it through the glasses of their theology. we're just a bunch of idiots who are catering to a bunch of homosexuals and a bunch of women. So we're the lowest of the low as far as their ideology is concerned. You see what I'm saying?
Yes, sir.
And then we got poor old pedo Joe going over there, and you know, it's not his fault. It's the people behind him, because I'm convinced that man doesn't know what day it is. I doubt that he really knows who he is anymore. I mean, he's deteriorated to the point that even big dose of Adderall that they were giving him before his campaign speeches ain't working no more. You know, just the poor guy got lost in the rose garden, had three or four Secret Service agents pointing him, over here, Joe, and he just walking on oblivious to the world. So, you know, he's just the face behind the machine. And, you know, and I tell you something that I've got to really comment on here, because I heard it at least twice tonight. People saying I'm ashamed to be an American, or almost ashamed to be an American. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I'm never going to be ashamed to be an American. I'm proud to be an American. I'm proud of America. I don't take for granted not one drop of blood that has been shed, foreign or abroad or domestically, for this country. I don't take for granted one of those marble tombstones out there at Arlington or any other place on the globe. I don't take for granted all of the hard work and determination that it took to bring this country through 2 world wars and countless others on just about every continent on the planet. I don't take for granted the sacrifices made by families and individuals. And, you know, in World War II, the men went off to war and the women went in the foundries and the machine shops, you know. That's something to be proud of, and I'll always be proud of it. I'll tell you what I am ashamed of. I'm ashamed of the indoctrination fueled by the political correctness crowd and propagated by biased media into letting such a small percentage of the population have such an effect over our overall picture on the world stage. We got 535 people in Washington that are, you know, speaking for millions, and we've got 5 or 7% of the population that believes all this cuckoo crap, but they're the ones getting all the media coverage, so that's what the world sees. They're not seeing guys out here in these Iowa cornfields, or out here in the flatlands of Ohio and the coal mines of Kentucky, and on and on and on. I mean, they're not seeing the everyman when it comes to this country. They're only seeing the clowns and the perverts and the rejects that the media is plastering all over TV. So I'm going to tell you something. I'm proud to be an American. I'll always be proud to be an American. I'll defend what's mine to the last breath that's in my body. And anybody who's ashamed of this country, or ashamed of me, or ashamed of any minute effort that has gone to propel this country to what it is now, I tell you what I'll do. I'll buy you a one-way plane ticket to anywhere in this world you want to go. Just get the hell on out of here. Because if you're not rooting for the home team, you might as well be sitting on the other side of the court. And I try not to get on my high horse tonight, but I'll be damned if I didn't turn that radio on, and it got to be about noontime, about 10 after 1. So I'm just going to have to take a couple more of them lisinoprils and fight the mud, the blood, and the beer, I guess. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about that. And keep it twixt the spotted and the solid, sunny side up and all that jazz, and we'll be 10-10 till we do it again. Come on.
Thank you for checking in, Big Moose. We'll chat later. Hey, we're right up against the news update, top of the hour. It is 844-844-3388. The Steve Summers Overnight Drive live from the Hot Shot Secret Studios.
USA Radio News with Dan Naraki.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken says that a new diplomatic chapter of the U.S.'s engagement in Afghanistan has begun. Blinken making the comments after the announcement that the final military flights out of the country have left Afghanistan. The Secretary of State also announced that the embassy would be moving its operations to Qatar.
As of today, we've suspended our diplomatic presence in Kabul and transferred our operations to Doha, Qatar, which will soon be formally notified to Congress. Given the uncertain security environment and political situation in Afghanistan, it was the prudent step to take. For the time being, we will use this post in Doha to manage our diplomacy with Afghanistan, including consular affairs, administering humanitarian assistance, and working with allies, partners, and regional and international stakeholders to coordinate our engagement and messaging to the Taliban.
This is USA Radio News.
The best companion a pillow has ever had. You've heard me talking about Mike Lindell's Giza Dreams bed sheets now for a couple of years. They're the perfect companion to the MyPillow. Made with the world's best cotton called Giza, grown only in a region between the Sahara Desert, the Mediterranean Sea, and the Nile River. Its long staple cotton makes it ultra soft and breathable. And just like the MyPillow, there's a 60-day money-back guarantee, 10-year warranty. Try it for yourself. Mike Lindell and I promise you'll sleep better or you get your money back. Go to MyPillow.com, click on the radio listener special, use my promo code USA. Giza Dream Sheets as low as $49.99, but only if you use my promo code USA, or call 1-800-951-8175 and ask for the Giza Dream Sheets special, and the promo code USA gets you up to 66% off the entire line of MyPillow products. Sleep better with the Giza Dreams bed sheets and save at MyPillow.com, promo code USA.
The Federal Trade Commission has its eye on gas prices. Tim Berg explains.
The Federal Trade Commission is going to crack down on gasoline price manipulation and unlawful mergers among big oil companies. FTC Chair Lena Khan telling the White House they will investigate abuses in the franchise market for retail fuel stations. Going forward, the FTC will challenge mergers where dominant players in the industry are buying family-run businesses. Khan adding they will reimpose prior approval requirements and probe practices related to fuel stations that are franchised. From the USA Radio News Phoenix Bureau, I'm Tim Berg.
And the Department of Education announced Monday that it was investigating 5 states for their bans on mask requirements in schools. The department's Office for Civil Rights says that the policies could be discriminatory against students with disabilities or health conditions. The department will investigate mask bans in Iowa, Oklahoma, South Carolina, Tennessee, and Utah. You're listening to USA Radio News.
Lights out, everybody.
Matt Dillon, United States Marshal. The first man they look for and the last they want to meet.
Pleasant dreams.
The greatest radio shows of all time, USA Classic Radio Theater, on these radio stations or on demand by searching USA Classic Radio Theater. USA Classic Radio Theater.
With the final U.S. military flights out of Afghanistan leaving on Monday, Secretary of State Antony Blinken said that there are between 100 and 200 Americans remaining in the country who want to get out. In remarks Monday evening, Blinken pledged that the U.S. would continue to work to get them and Afghans who worked alongside U.S. personnel out. But critics of the administration's withdrawal say that the U.S. broke its promise to get all Americans evacuated before the final pullout. Mary Beth Long, former Assistant Secretary of Defense under President George W. Bush, says that the U.S. left its citizens hanging when they went to the airport for evacuation. She tells CNBC that many promises went unfulfilled as the last troops left Afghanistan.
Last night, dozens and dozens of U.S. citizens went to the airport. They were called to go there, and the gates never opened. Those U.S. citizens were left hanging this morning, circling the gates, circling the airport, unable to do much of anything. That isn't the promise that Americans expect. We also haven't even begun to talk about the green card holders. These are American citizens who, some of them, put in their paperwork during COVID, but don't have the official paperwork back. There are probably, by our estimates, 5,000 U.S. citizen green card holders, and special immigration visa holders that did not get out. And this idea that they were given every opportunity or somehow a large number of them voted to stay is just not the case. It's undermined by the facts that they were circling the airport last night.
And for USA Radio News, I'm Dan Naraki.
At Hot Shot Secret, we share the science behind common diesel problems and their solutions. For example,
ultra-low sulfur fuels.
The primary function of diesel fuel is combustibility. One of the little-known aspects of fuel is its role as a lubricant to metal-on-metal moving parts. The introduction of ultra-low sulfur fuels diminishes the fuel's ability to lubricate because sulfur, which has been mostly removed, has lubricating properties. Hot Shot Secret Everyday Diesel Treatment with LX4 delivers unmatched lubricity. Third-party testing confirms that it takes 3 times the amount of leading fuel treatment to match the lubrication benefit of 1 dose of Hot Shot Secret. Everyday Diesel Treatment is a fully formulated 6-in-1 premium fuel treatment for every fill-up, every time.
Everyday Diesel Treatment is available at truck stops, Tractor Supply, O'Reilly's Auto Parts, and online at HotShotSecret.com. Hot Shot Secret, powered by science.
Yeah, I can see how many are not proud of this administration or the way they handled exiting the country, Afghanistan. Yeah, there were some, I don't know, to me it was kind of heartwarming that there are dedicated men and women, veterans out there that went way above and beyond the call of duty, I guess you'd say. Several days ago, it was the report was from Saturday, is the countdown clock was ticking to the exit deadline, Taliban deadline, right? A volunteer group of American military veterans had actually been helping hundreds of at-risk Afghan elite forces and their families to safety in nighttime operations. It was called Pineapple Express, a daring, heroic private mission detailed by an embedded ABC News reporter witnessing the heart-pounding operation. Dozens of high-risk individuals, families with small children, orphans, pregnant women, secretly being moved through the streets of Kabul throughout the night. And up to just seconds before ISIS detonated that bomb in the huddled mass of Afghans looking for safety and freedom. A leader of the private rescue effort, Army Lieutenant Colonel Scott Mann, a retired Green Beret commander, told ABC, which had journalists embedded with the groups, the group is working with the U.S. military and the embassy to move people in small groups, if not one at a time, into the secured areas of the airport. Now, the dangers of the operation were increased by the pair of suicide bombings. Pineapple Express, an offshoot of Task Force Pineapple, they say rescued 500 Afghan special operators, assets, and enablers, and their families. Operation was named after refugees who would hold up their smartphone showing a graphic of yellow pineapples on a pink field to identify themselves. That was actually a secret password. That password has since changed. Of course, obviously now there's nobody there to see them. The Herculean effort, they said, could not have been done without the unofficial heroes inside the airfield who denied their orders to